This new information could extend this bull run. You have to hear this. There are a stampede of banks and institutional investors and enterprises ready to enter the crypto space. We're talking trillions of dollars. We're also going to take a look at some new information here. The crypto market could boom to $20 trillion this cycle. What could that mean for XRP's price? We also have XRP overtaking American Express and McDonald's in market cap. Holy smokes. Let's get into this, guys. Let's get into this.
Investors have been sitting on the sidelines. They've been looking at this marketplace for a long time, both Bitcoin and Ether, and especially stablecoins. They've wanted to get into it, but they've been nervous about the regulatory environment, especially here in the United States, because we've been lagging for the last few years. This basically unlocks that entire ecosystem. So we expect a stampede of banks, institutional investors, enterprises going in. Consumers have already adopted. We've got something like 50 or 60 million Americans with crypto, but we expect to see big engagement here. And I'm going to expect to see a lot of announcements, especially around enterprises buying Ether for their treasuries.
All right. You're saying that people are more open to cryptocurrency.
Enterprises buying Ether for their treasuries. Also, XRP, right? They just started to be XRP for treasuries as well. We've just seen, what was it, like 10 or 11 companies promising $1 billion? I think that's just getting started too, right? Ether is a little bit more well-known. Of course, Ripple has been trying to get over, this SEC and Ripple case for 4.5 years. But now that we are seeing the light, XRP's price is going to blast past $4 soon. And once we do that, there are so many other catalysts that could take us even higher. I did a video on that, I believe, yesterday. If you missed that video, I went through about 8 or 10 different catalysts. Go watch that video. There's a lot of good information in that video.
Currency, but a lot of the action really seems to be focused on Bitcoin. You're part of an Ether trade alliance. So talk to us about what this could potentially mean for Ether. Now, Ether is generally seen as kind of a crypto you can kind of build apps and things on. Do you see it also becoming a bigger part of retirement accounts, just holdings for retail investors more broadly?
I absolutely do. So the key to Ethereum's success is the fact that it is the main programmable ecosystem on which you can build stable coins, real world assets. Something like 85% of all the real world assets, like things that exist off chain, are tokenized and delivered on chain. We saw last month an announcement by Robinhood that they were going to build their own layer 2 network on top of Ethereum. And very importantly, in that network, they're going to be offering investment products that you can't get in any other place.
Interesting. All right. So Ether looks like it's going to have some adoption here through that.
So I thought this is a really great watershed and thanks to the president for his leadership and the Congress for, getting this out and getting that bill to the president's desk for signature. I think this bill the Genius Act is focused on payment stable coins. And so that's not really within the ambit of regulation, but it's really for the banking regulators as is appropriate. But the one great thing about this is that for the first time now, the United States government has put its stamp of approval on a very key and important, potentially very important digital asset that will, I think, help to lower costs, lower risks in the market, because we can now move towards instantaneous almost settlement of payment versus delivery for securities, thanks to on-chain stablecoins. And that will help, I think, innovation and to really get our markets, and to be the best in the world.
What a difference in SEC directors and chairs, right? From Gary Gensler to Paul Atkins. It's like night and day, man. All right, here's Bo Hines. He is President Trump's executive director for crypto, and he's telling Mara CEO that stablecoin regulations could help the crypto market soar to 15 to 20 trillion. Listen up.
The capital injection that goes into the digital assets ecosystem as a result of stables is enormous. I think that you're looking at probably an industry going to $15, $20 trillion, because what this does is it establishes really the foundation for all the exciting things that we've dreamed of. Tokenized public securities, 24/7 markets. If you want to access U.S. capital markets, you're going to have to use a dollar-backed stable. And this is what positions the United States to be the global leader. And in reality, we should be pushing this change. We should be at the forefront of adoption of digital asset financial technology and really leading the charge globally in that. It'll protect the U.S. economy. It'll certainly create innovation here in the United States, and that's something that we should all be excited about.
Man, okay, what would this do to XRP's price? I threw some information here into Perplexity just to show you. Right now, the total market cap for the crypto market is about 4 trillion. XRP makes up about 210 billion of that. It's about 5.25%. I looked at this information like last month before the big price jump. It was only 4%. So it grew 1.25% in just a month, which is really cool to know. If we bring in $20 trillion in the crypto market and we still represent the same amount of 5.25%, we're looking at a $17 XRP. If the crypto market grows to 50 or $100 trillion and XRP represents the 5.25%, we're looking at $43 or $86 for XRP. Now, because I believe as more people get used to using XRP for institutional use cases, now that the SEC case is going to be behind us soon, XRP ETFs are coming, XRP treasuries, and all of these other things are happening, I could see this number growing from 5% to maybe 10% or 15%. And so if that were to happen, I got some information here. If the XRP's dominance rises to 10 or 15%, what kind of prices would we be looking at? Here's 10% dominance. Here's 15% dominance. Here's 20 trillion. Here's 50 trillion. And here's 100 trillion. $250 XRP looks pretty juicy to me. Here is some information about market capitalization. Ripple XRP is now worth 211 billion, overtaking Shell. XRP is up 500% since July 2024 with an all new time high of $3.65. Crypto is now outpacing oil. So here this is right here in front of Shell, in front of Simmons, in front of Intuit. Great to see XRP now taking some slots away. Also, I just wanted to take a look at some information. I wanted to just to fact check this. Of course, this is actually accurate. I did want to see, look at this. So XRP is now worth 214 billion, surpassing McDonald's at 211.87 billion. From Big Macs to big bags. I love that. That's a great little saying there. But here is just that, information fact check. Yes, XRP surpassed American Express in market capitalization. I just wanted to make sure that that was all accurate. And then, we need to talk about two things here. The $200 million in tokenized assets on the XRP ledger. This is growing. This is up 2,260% from 5 million to 118 million. And I know you're going to say, Sensei, 118 million out of, trillions of dollars isn't a lot, but you have to start somewhere. And we are definitely starting somewhere. As you can see in early January, this was nothing. It was at nothing. And now we're over at $120 million just a few months later. The SEC case and Ripple case hasn't even been settled yet. So once that happens, I would expect a boom of financial assets to start coming on chain in a big way. Remember, there's 1,400 smart contracts. The EVM sidechain is going to open up a new era of development on the XRP ledger that we haven't seen in years. So this is really good for XRP holders and of course the XRP ecosystem. I did need to bring this up though. Dave Portnoy, he bought into XRP, I think it was like a few months back, and he said that he was the president of the XRP army, and he was like XRP this and XRP that, only to find out that he sold his bag too early. He sold his bag way back at $2. Listen to this.
So anyways, XRP, I had, I think, close to $3 million of XRP, and it was hovering. XRP was going from like 210 to 240, back to 210, back to 240. Fine. I wasn't going to sell it. I was going to diamond hands it. But the guy who originally was like, get involved in XRP, and the reason I looked at it, sends me a text out of the blue. And I don't talk to this guy a lot. He knows who he is. He knows who he is. And he's like, hey, not good news that Circle is going to do what XRP is doing. I don't even really know what he's talking about. I'm like, so you're saying sell XRP? He's like, I certainly don't like it that much anymore, or as much as I did. So in XRP, it's going 240 to 210, 240 to 210. When it went back up to around 240, I'm like, all right, I don't. This guy doesn't like it anymore. I'm just going to get out. No sooner did I sell it, the thing went parabolic. It's like 350. I blinked. Made me sick to my stomach. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
This is about not having the right information, right? If Dave, whatever his name, would have watched this channel, he'd have had the right information instead of listening to some guy that he really doesn't talk to that much and taking financial advice from this guy. Why don't you properly educate yourself? Talk with a financial advisor that actually knows a thing or two about XRP. Don't take advice from some random person that you don't talk with that much. That is his downfall. He had over 1 million XRP. That million XRP one day is probably going to be worth 100 million, 200 million, maybe even $1 billion one day. And he paper handed it. This, it's about education. It's about knowing what you hold. And it's about not listening to everybody else around you. Make up your own decision. Take time to understand what you are actually investing in. This is unfortunate. I think Dave still has time to get back in, but he's too sick in his current moment that he can't even see straight. And this has happened to all of us before. We have all sold something too early because maybe we listened to a friend or we just didn't have faith in what we were holding. It happens. And I feel for this guy. And I hope he gets back on the right track here. And I hope he can still enter and get in with us, because I think there's a lot of more growth ahead for Ripple, for XRP and the XRP army. It's just sad to see that, but hey, he came out, he admitted it. He could have just stayed in the shadows and not said anything, but he came out, admitted it. Got to give him that much, man. So hopefully better days for Davey boy here, and hopefully better days for all of us. Thanks, guys. Aloha. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.